Many factors could affect the student's grades in an exam. Not preparing well for the exam is the first on that list. Many students complain of questions being unclear in the exam paper, or in denial of studying any study material that covers the topic of some questions. However, most exam questions won't be straightforward, but rather manipulated. Another reason for getting low grades in exams could be the fact that stress overtakes most of the students before an exam. Entering an exam with confidence is 80% of an exam, as they say. While studying well and confidence are vital, anticipation is by far the most important reason. Procrastinating studies for the last few days before an exam makes all the information processed being stored in the short-term memory. The short-term memory could be influenced by many factors, which leads to the student forgetting up to half of what they studied. Thank you.
ساعات يكون شرح الدكتور في المحاضرة ما يكون كافي، يعني اللي يشرحه في المحاضرة ما يكون على مستوى اللي يجيبه في الامتحان. ساعات يدرسنا شيء، يدرسنا مثلا الزائد في شابتر والناقص في شابتر، ويجيب لنا في المتر مسألة واحدة فيها زائد وناقص. زين انت ما شرحت لنا مسألة واحدة فيها زائد وناقص.
السؤال ما يكون واضح او المطلب من السؤال يكون غير عن اللي انت فهمته، فانت تكتب شيء ثاني، او مثلا انت تكون مو دارس للامتحان عدل ويبقى شيء انت تدرس اشياء غير ما لها علاقة في التست.
The general intelligence of human beings is subdivided into practical, analytic, and creative intelligence. When we come testing students in a theoretical exam, what we are actually targeting is the analytical intelligence only. Some exams provide a series of questions approaching the practical intelligence, asking about real-life situations, but that rarely covers it. Concluding, in my opinion, exams are not a standard to evaluate students.
The design of the assessment itself will determine how much and in what ways it shows the progress of students and their learning. So for example, if I give my students a summative assessment that only has, let's say, multiple choice questions, or only requires them to give a presentation, or only requires them to answer an essay question, then I may be limiting some students because some of them may be more comfortable with giving presentations. Some of them do a better job when it comes to answering multiple choice questions. They're more analytical in their thinking, so they can do it. But if you have multiple ways of assessing the summative learning of the students, then you'll have a clear idea of how much they have learned and whether or not they have achieved what they're supposed to have achieved. So I think it's mostly the design, not really the students themselves or the instructor, him or herself, who are the problem. It's the tool itself that they're using.
I'm not sure whether summative assessment in general is a good way to describe how we can measure student learning. Some summative assessment is very effective, and it can be used as a tool for both the student and the teacher to learn more about how well the student has met the objectives and the learning path of the student. But other summative exams, particularly ones that just have discrete fact and multiple choice questions exclusively, that don't let students show what they've really learned or let us see the steps in their thinking process, may not be very helpful at all.
My first point is that summative assessment should not be the only form of assessment. There should be a consistent and continuous formative assessment which should be part of any course teaching, because as we know, formative assessment tells students how they are doing, tell teachers how much your students are learning through your methodology. So that should be the most important part of any course teaching. Talking about summative assessment, it is an effective way, I believe, but it depends from the course, the kind of course which is, being taught. So not every course is suitable for summative assessment. Therefore, it depends on the course, and it depends on the kind of summative assessment which is being created. So it could be something which is, which is not just focusing on the grades, but it is something which is really testing the accomplishment and the achievement of the students on the course. In those cases, I feel summative assessment is good because it does give a concrete performance profile to the students of what they have done and what they have achieved over the course.